Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to my channel. My name is Leon M. So in today's episode, I wanted to just talk a bit on the topic of narcissism. This is like a broad topic, and it is a topic that not many people in South Africa are aware of. Not many people get the opportunity to learn about it. So it's something that is very unfamiliar to majority of people in South Africa. So the reason why I chose this topic is because I was watching today Muvhango, which is a South African televised uh, soapy. In the soapy, there are two characters that I'm mainly interested in. So the first one is Debuho, who is a psychopath. She has killed so many people. She has hurt so many people. She has had her own kids and doesn't even care whoever stands in her way will get the wrath of her hair. Will just suffer too. And there's also the second character, which is Kalima. Kalima is uh he's a psychiatrist who is related to Dr. Klimba. Dr. Klimba is their sister, and she's a doctor. So Kalema has lost his license to practice, his medical license, so he no longer can work in the medical field. He has a private clinic, so he's trying his best to regain a trust from the people who decide you are fit to be a doctor or you don't. So he's trying to revoke, or is it revoke, to change the decision that they've made about him. So in order for him to do that, he has to convince Uteboho that he's in love with her, that he can't live without her. So in order for him to even do that is to manipulate Teboho, because Teboho, remember, Teboho is someone who has been a narcissist for like the longest time. She has been grandiose. She has been like someone who believes her own stories. Like if she tells herself that that person hates her, yeah, it's like it's game over. You hate her. So she's someone who listens to her own voice. So now he has to play Utebuho using Tebuho's what can I say now? By using Tebuho's, I don't even know what to say. Okay, let's wait for the car to pass. So he has to use Tebuho's tactics and make sure that she kneels in this instance, make sure that she goes to jail and serves her time, while Yena will be busy going back to work and practicing with psychology. So let's just first define what narcissism is for those who don't know it, because some people don't know it. Nama was one of those people. Like 2022, I didn't know what narcissism is, but by God's grace, I learned about it, and I realized I had also suffered from narcissistic abuse. So it took time for me to get to a point where I realized it was happening, because physical signs were there. Like I was losing weight. I sorry, I lost weight, a lot of weight. I isolated myself a lot. I realized I would rather be alone than be around people. So I spent a lot of time alone. I went back to journaling, which was something that was a bit like I didn't understand it, but I realized the reason why I was doing that is because I saw it felt safe for me to write down how I felt rather than tell people, but this is how I feel. So rather than having a conversation, a one-on-one conversation, I just preferred to write down my feelings. And by doing that, I was able to confront my demons and just accept what I've gone through and try by all means to change, because the behavior I am was changing. Like I was becoming a mean person. Like I was very mean. I didn't like anyone. I didn't want people bothering me. I was like, I don't want to be around you. Leave me alone. So I was that person, and I didn't like the person that I was becoming, because I was becoming unapproachable. No one was able to approach me. Even my friends, I isolated myself from them. I basically just chose to shut down, not saying anything. It started showing physically through weight loss, and also I started having acne. Like I had so many pimples on my face, even my back as well. So I had back acne, and it was something I thought it was just like it's a phase, it will go, it will pass. I just have to use different products. I bought different products, and none of them helped. Some just inflamed me more. So instead of having less pimples, I was having more, and the spots on my face were not going anywhere. They were stuck, and they were dark. And by going through like the emotional journey or the spiritual journey of accepting isn't the abuse that I went through, i was able I was able to heal, not only spiritually or emotionally. I was able to heal physically as well. My appearance started to change, my body weight started to change, and I was happier. I was laughing more. I was more engaged in relationships that I was in, friendship, family, younger Londo. And I was no longer trying to hide from everyone. Like then baleki phone calls, I would see phone call and look at it and be like, I'm not going to answer that, and put it back and just avoid it. And kwezinye I would put my phone on flight mode just because I was annoyed. I didn't want to speak to anyone. So when I went through like the healing journey, I was able now to engage with people, open myself up to people, and know okokuba what I should share and what I shouldn't share. I know that there are things that are more personal to me that I should keep to myself, and there are things that I can be able to share with people. So in the end, I was trust myself. I was able to trust myself, and that showed ke relationships in the gozo that okay, by trusting myself, I was able to trust abanye abantu. I was able to not just put a high expectation on them and also on myself, but to say okay, this is what I want. In order for me to get what I want, I need to walk a certain path. Like I have to move from point A to point B. So in order for you to reach point B, which is where I want us to meet, you have to move from the point that you are and to the point that I am, the point that I am standing in. So that's basically to compromise instead of sacrificing, having to move from my where I am, point A to point C. We had to make a compromise. So I was also able to put down boundaries, which are very essential, especially in relationship. If you are in a relationship and there are no boundaries, I see you're going to get hurt. Like what's okay at this point. So I was able to put those boundaries and say, okay, this is what I want us to build. So I want us to build this relationship based on trust, based on other things, based on trust, love, communication, sitting as three. So for us to be able to build a relationship, so we're going to need communication, because I'm pretty sure by now you're eating communication. We can't be in a friendship without communication. We're going to need to trust. So if I say I can't do the things that we've made plans for, you have to trust there is a reason behind that, and I also have to trust if you do the same thing reverse, I have to trust that you have your own reason for that. So trust is very essential. And also, what was this other thing? So it's communication, trust, and love. So there has to be love. If there's no love, since there's no friendship there. because you're going to betray me, I'm going to betray you. We basically so hetana at this point. So there has to be utando. You have to love me. I have to love you as well. Those are like essential things. So we have to meet each other halfway. You have to compromise kwezinye izinto. So that was something I had to learn. I'm still learning it because nangoku I'm not mastering those. I still suck at some of them. It was communication. So communication is something that I'm still learning. It's not easy to communicate, especially when you have to communicate to someone who is not a communicator. It's like you talking to like a brick wall. A call or there's nothing. So it's very exhausting to keep a relationship njalo, but ke kunyanzelekile we have to build relationship because as humans we cannot all depend on ourselves. So you don't even know who you're going to want help from, so you have to build a relationship in your community and also at work and around you, all around you. Back to the to the content, back to the story. So Ukalema decided to use Deborah's tactics in order for him to break her in a way. So Uzama break her down to make sure that she adhere to his command, uyamamela, and yonke into eyenziwa nguDeborah has to come from Ukalema. So when I was watching this episode, I felt remorseful, Deborah. Like it was so sad. Like the things Kalema was said before Deborah was just too painful. Like not even Umdu who has done so much damage to other people deserves that kind of treatment. Like I feel like she doesn't deserve it. Yes, she has done things that aren't good, but she did not deserve landlela I'm treating her. That's my opinion, Nalapo. So someone else may have a different opinion. You're more than welcome to share your opinion on the comment section. So please do share it. I really want to hear from you. So he is basically manipulating Uteboho. So yesterday he used a manipulation. So Uteboho, there was like a bedroom after the bedroom scene. So Uteboho is just grandiose most. So she knows okokuba she's good. So yeah, boast about after that, session that I gave you, you must be very tired, very, very, very thirsty. So drink up in njalo. So Kalema is like, some days aren't the same, not for everyone. So sometimes, once he makes an example of a stove, like uti. Some days the stove goes up to 5, and sometimes it goes down to 1. So Uteboho, in this instance, she's a 2.5. So that's how he rates her. Like, you were not that bad. You were not that good, but you were not that bad. So I'll rate you 2.5. So to Uteboho's reaction, she was very shocked, and I understand why. She was extremely shocked because she knew, like, Ungene, knowing that she's a 5, like 500% Akashi Nix. But to her disappointment, she realized Kokuba she's a 2 out of 5, a 2.5, sorry, out of 5. So that was not the best reaction from someone like her. It did it did break her heart. So to just see Udebuho in that state for me was just disappointing. It was heartbreaking, as I said before. I don't understand. Like, and as I feel like if you do wrong, and I know it, when we are done, so Tina, we tend to get revenge. That's basically it. Now, when I realized I was narcissistically abused, I wanted revenge so bad. Like, I would pray for revenge. But then I realized when I ikhona into that I prayed for that occurred. I realized okokuba it didn't give me any satisfaction. It it just brought sadness, more sadness in my life and in the person who abused me's life. So I didn't need that responsibility of knowing that the reason why Omyumtana is in a bad state is because I prayed for that thing. So I went on again, Dapina Natandaza, and tried begged God but I change it. And he did. So I wouldn't wish anyone anything bad, because even though Nsotina, yes, when you had ufuna revenge, but when you realize okokuba, when you get that revenge, you realize okokuba it's not as satisfying as you would have imagined. It doesn't give you any happiness. There's no happiness there. It will just bring you sadness and irresponsibility. So you just seeing that person suffer with you won't make you less suffering. I don't think, yeah, it makes any sense. Just because the person that hurt you has suffered won't take away your own suffering. So rather you just move on with your life and just pray for forgiveness and move on with your life, because that is a better option rather than the other one. The other one is not good for you. So what Ukalima is doing is doing the same thing to Utabuho. He's hurting Utebuho, but at the end of the day, Akazu hurt only Yena, because Utebu has 2 kids. So he will hurt those 2 kids. Remember, Utebuho, I don't think I spoke about this. Utebuho spent majority of her life, especially Ulas Bonwake, in prison. So she spent years in prison. Now that she's back, Abantwana bakhe didn't want anything to do with her. Now they have formed a bond with her. Now they realize how important their mother is, even though Mama Wabo manipulated the whole situation. But Lonto Aiteti Kubo, they have built a relationship with Mama Wabo, and they see a different person. They see the same mother that they had before she went to prison, the loving, the caring, the protective mother. So for him to take away the familiarity of their life, because that's basically it, he's going to take away Lonto. Yes, Utebuko deserves to go to prison for everything that she has done, but not to this extent. Like, I'm sorry, but I feel like Indlela that he's going about this is wrong. Yes, she deserves to go and to be arrested and go to prison and pay for her sins, but I don't think this is the way she should be serving her what do you call this, her sentence. It's very humiliating to realize that you are a case study. Like, and who wants to be a case study. I don't think anyone wants to be all over the news with the reason why I got my license is because I exposed so and so. Like, it's not something I feel like so Tina, I don't feel like it's the way to go. There's a different approach that I feel like you could have used, and that's basically something that I want. That's the only thing I wanted us to talk about. And okay, to add up